Communication in the workplace is one crucial element that contributes to the day-to-day functioning of an organization. But what is even more important is the way in which employers, employees, and of course colleagues communicate with one another. Just how important is it to send that clear message? How effective is our communication in the workplace? Well, Kefilwe Morobane, the co-founder and director of a communications company called Giving Wings, joins us now in studio to talk about this. A very good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Firstly, tell me about Giving Wings, about your company. How did it all start and why was that important for you to start that company?
Okay, so Giving Wings was launched from a time in my life when I was very frustrated. I was frustrated by the quality of communication, let it be in society to the workplace. I reached a point where I found that graduates couldn't articulate themselves. I then moved into the working world and I found that professionals, whether it was a presentations that they were sharing in front of their teams, the message wasn't clear. It was confusing at times. People didn't get to the point. It moved on to events, it moved on to various activations. And then one day in my frustration, I approached my sister, Tato Mboweni, and I said to her, Tato, something must be done. There must be a platform that can really empower people to articulate themselves well. And then Giving Wings was launched. And for us, the goal with Giving Wings is to help people understand that the power to communicate effectively is one of the most critical skills that any individual needs to harness. When you harness and develop that skill well, you have an ability to soar. Opportunities in this world will just embrace themselves because you're clear in your message and you're clear in connecting with your audience.
How do you harness and develop that particular skill? Because it's a very important skill, especially in the workplace.
It's crucial. I cannot stress it enough. For me, how do you harness your communication skills? I must start off by saying that it is a journey. I believe that nobody is born as an effective communicator. The ability to communicate is innate, is in all of us. But for me, it starts by understanding who you are. If you don't know who you are, if you're not clear on your capabilities, you are then hesitant to present yourself in front of an audience. It starts then by understanding your message. What is the objective of this message that I want to share with people? I find at times people communicate and they're not clear on the purpose of their message. Then it's about structuring it. How will I actually deliver this message? And then ultimately it's about delivering it, preparing that you deliver it well, and then connecting with your audience.
Now, does this include also written communication, or is it just verbal communication we're talking about?
For me, it's all inclusive. It's not only about verbal communication, and that's why we're so passionate about empowering effective communicators. People who non-verbally, from the way you dress, to the way in which the energy you bring into a room, to how do you communicate verbally, your written communication, when you send that email to your clients. If you have a company, how is your brand represented in the world? For me, it encompasses all those elements.
What are some of the benefits of effective communication within that workplace, and have you seen that rubbing off on other people?
I believe the benefits of harnessing your communication skills are endless. For me, if I'm to look at individuals, if you are able to articulate and present yourself well in any environment, people take you seriously. I find at times when I'm hosting my training workshops and I have people who present themselves articulately, people stand up and listen to them. People want to engage with them. If you're an entrepreneur for your business, if you communicate yourself well, people want to do business with you. If you're going in for that tender presentation and you've harnessed your message, people will engage with you. And then we have organizations. If organizations are passionate, whether it's a small company right up to large organizations, and you're passionate about in improving the communication skills of your employees, you enhance the reputation of your organization. Therefore, people want to engage with you, people want to do business with you, and your employees are engaged. There's morale in your organization.
So it's all about verbal communication, it's about written communication, but somebody said to me once, it's also about body language, because the only language that they understand is body language.
Oh, so true. Your body speaks. I cannot say it enough. I've done my training workshops, and at times I find that I always coach people and tell them that from the moment you stand up and you're about to present your presentation or speech, your audience is watching you. You cannot walk onto the stage and you've slouched your bag or you're a bit apologetic about the environment. You need to stand tall. You need to stand bold. Sometimes people look at me and they say, Kefilwe, but you cannot judge me by the way that I dress. And the way you dress is also an example of that body language, because in whatever environment that you're in, you need to be dressed accordingly. And for me, that's an element of body language as well. So it's posture, it's eye contact. When people are speaking to you, a lot of times in our African cultures believe that don't look people in the eyes. If I'm not looking at you in the eyes, I'm not connecting with you.
That's about connection and making that connection. Now, what about social relationships? Because it's all about workplace that we're talking about now. How does that rub off onto your social relationships?
Oh, I cannot say it enough. You know, there's a famous saying that says, you know, a family that prays together stays together. And for me, I also believe the same is said for communication. If you communicate either in relationships with your friends, you're able to keep that bond. Without communication in our social settings, from husband to wife to family to parents, if you're not communicating with your children, if you're not in tune with what's happening with them, what happens is there's a lot of disengagement. People are doing their own and moving into their own paths because why? We're not building, we're not connecting. So it's very critical.
Briefly, a few tips on how we can communicate better.
Yes, so I get this all the time, and there's so many tips, but my key tip to anyone who wants to enhance their communication skills, it starts with yourself. You need to have that meeting with yourself and really unleash the confidence and capabilities within you. Secondly, it's about being clear on the objective of your message, whether it's that email to your manager, whether it's that interview that you're going into. If you're clear on why am I doing this, then connect with your audience. Know who your audience is. Don't speak above them. Speak to them. Try by all means to connect with your audience. And then most importantly, structure and preparation. I don't believe in speaking off the cuff. I believe in taking time out and preparing your message.
Thank you so much, Kefilwe, for joining us here in studio. That was Kefilwe Morobane giving us a few tips on how to communicate better, well, in your workplace and even in your social life.